to the next topic. So next, I'm going to go into enolate chemistry and aldol condensation. So an enolate, so aldehydes and ketones, they exist in solution as two isomers due to the acidity of the alpha hydrogen. So the alpha hydrogen is the oxygen right next to the carbonyl carbon. So that hydrogen is attached to the carbon next to the carbonyl carbon. So as a result, you have keto and enol tautomers. They ketones and aldehydes, they exist in solution as these two molecules on the bottom. So the double bond will either be between the carbonyl carbon and the oxygen, or between the carbonyl carbon and the alpha carbon. So as a result, we have two tautomers, and the equilibrium between them usually lies more on the keto side. So the left one on the bottom. So that's the keto tautomer. That's when the double bond is between the oxygen and the oxygen and the carbonyl carbon. This is because it's more favorable to have the double bond rest between the more electronegative oxygen than the alpha carbon. But you can interconvert between the keto and the enol tautomers. So that when you convert between them, it's called enolization or tautomerization. So a lot of the reactions, they involve converting between the keto and the enol form, or enolate. It's called the enolate form when the molecule has a negative charge on it. So on the bottom, these are the two keto and enolates. So the first reaction involving an enolate is called the Michael addition. So this is when the carbanion attacks a multiple bond next to the carbonyl. So this is when you deprotonate the alpha carbon. So because of the acidity of the alpha hydrogen. So when you use a base to deprotonate that alpha carbon, you get a carbanion, and you can resonate the carbanion, the negative charge on the carbanion, onto the oxygen, as you can see in this diagram. And you can use that negative charge to form a covalent bond. So what happens is you resonate down, you resonate the negative charge from the oxygen down, and use that negative charge to attack either a double bond or a triple bond on another molecule. So this molecule on the bottom line, you see the molecule with the dotted lines that is used to represent the negative charge resonating between the two carbonyls. But you can use that negative charge to attack this double bond on the molecule on the left, and that resonates the double bond, the electrons on the double bond onto that carbonyl oxygen. And if you look on the bottom right, it forms this molecule where the alpha carbon on the first molecule is attached to the one of the carbons involved in that double bond in the second molecule, and that carbonyl on the second molecule can reform when taking a proton from the solvent. So it forms this molecule on the bottom right, where two molecules attached to each other through a covalent bond, and this is called a Michael addition. So general mechanism is you deprotonate the alpha carbon, and the alpha carbon has a negative charge, and you use that negative charge to attack a double or triple bond in order to form a covalent bond. So it looks like you just drew a line between the alpha carbon and one of the carbons in another molecule involved in a double bond. So that's what the general mechanism looks like. That's called a Michael addition. Next, I'm going to go into aldol condensation. So this is also a nucleophilic addition to a carbonyl, but the ketone or aldehyde acts as both the electrophile via the keto form and the nucleophile via the enolate form. So this forms a carbon-carbon bond as well. Similarly, the enolate ion is formed using a base, so it's deprotonated using a basic solvent. And this causes the enolate to be more nucleophilic than the enol form because it is negatively charged after deprotonation. So what happens is that nucleophilic enolate will react with the electrophilic carbonyl group of another molecule. So when you have just an aldehyde with a basic solvent or just a ketone with a basic solvent, you can do an aldol condensation. And what this forms is called an aldol product because it has both aldehyde and alcohol functional group on the same molecule. So it has both an aldehyde and an alcohol attached to that same molecule. And it's called a condensation reaction because when you use a strong base and high temperatures, you can dehydrate that molecule and lose a water molecule. But like I said, if you have just one ketone or one aldehyde in the solution, you know what that aldol product looks like. But when there is multiple ketones or aldehydes in that solution, you can't control which acts as nucleophile and which acts as electrophile to attack each other. So you may have multiple products. So this is just the general mechanism for an aldol condensation. So on the top left, these two molecules are the same, but one of them will be deprotonated by that basic catalyst in order to form the enolate ion. And then, so what happens is the negative charge on that alpha carbon will resonate onto the electronegative oxygen, and then you can resonate that negative charge down from the oxygen in order to attack that carbonyl carbon on the other aldehyde. So what happens is that that negative enolate will attack the enol form. So the enolate will act as the nucleophile, and the enol form will react as the electrophile. And what happens is you get this bottom left structure where it's connected together. And so when the enolate ion attacks that carbonyl group, it resonates that double bond. It resonates the electrons on that double bond onto the oxygen. So it causes it to have a negative charge. And that negative oxygen will take a proton from the solvent, the water. So this forms the aldol product. But when you have a strong basic catalyst and high temperatures, you can form the condensation reaction. So what happens is this bottom middle structure, hydroxyl group as a water, and it forms a double bond between the alpha carbon and the carbon that was attached to the hydroxyl group. So that's like aldol condensation. So the last part, the dehydration, it will only occur under basic conditions and high temperatures.